Early morning is 0 to 47 minutes. Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. I titled this, We, Yes, Us, is making it bad for the next generations. The first thing I noticed we are making it so bad is based on it's different things that we're doing. One of the things is going to social media right away. If you haven't noticed in the 80s and the 90s, or since time began, we were always the louder, most fanciest, most lavish people. Even if you go back to our ancestors, we was always loud. We make sure we was the good looking ones. So all this information about we don't need to look good, but we was in position to look good. We had things in order. It wasn't no domination. It wasn't slavery. It wasn't nobody controlling no one. We was defending each other. We held honor in our color. And that's no longer what we see. We don't hold honor in our color no more. Our ancestors, our we had rituals that was actually good. You had passages. Like the men, and the men had a passage, things they had to go through. The young men, then the young women had passages and things they had to go through and things that we had to do. We weren't obligated because your passage was in time that you thought you was ready. Some failed the passage, get looked down upon. They got looked at like, well, you just not ready. Big deal. Move on. So what? We gonna work. You still go come hunting. I'm still gonna show you how to be a woman. You still gonna be a woman. That wasn't going to negate everything you were supposed to be doing. That didn't stop their life. And then now I said that because we have a weird understanding, which I know is distorted and spiritually. The entity of our creator told me that's a lie. To tell people that's now I'm gonna tell you that is truly a lie. Keep believing our history. We was not raping in women. We was not pillaging villages. We was not killing people. Like I mean, oh, you got my stuff. Boom, boom, bang, bang. We wasn't out there fighting and hurting each other as history say. For some reason, I'm gonna listen to the spirit on this one because I know it was more than life than what we see now. Our young generations now, they have no knowledge. They don't even have knowledge of the fake history. You can ask a young man about a young indigo African native men, descent men, and he wouldn't know anything. Just like a young native African descent young woman, she wouldn't know anything. They don't know nothing. But we wonder why we're walking around here not respecting one another. I say honor because I would say if I was talking to her, I told my mother it's an honor to talk to you. I know every day someone may have lost their mother today due to some disease or some type of uh, feudal argument that's not going to never reach us because revenge only causes more revenge. So it's feudal. So it serves no purpose to keep on fighting over and over, keep doing the same things over and over, and it's not working. There's no change and there's no betterness. It's futile. It serves no true purpose. It don't make sense. It's no sense to keep reiterating history. But I want to reiterate the right history. If you look back and look at all the great buildings of the world, you think people did that under a rule of slavery? Come on now. Nobody, all these, if you look back if you see these buildings that's falling apart, because things are going to get old and fall apart. That makes sense. Then we can rebuild it. That's because if we had the structure, we had the original foundation to rebuild. We don't have the original foundation from our past generations to rebuild a community. If we actually, what we can't reenact what happened before slavery. But I know good and damn well within me, I'm not damned. I'm not over. My life is still here. I can do my best part. So I want to get on to the title. We are the reason for the generations to be. my father generation, his father generation, his father generation is the reason of what we see today. Brenda had a baby and Brenda had a big old booty as well. Remember that? Remember those songs? Brenda had a baby, Brenda by Tupac. And then the guy's name that said Whoop, there it is. Not Whoop, that is. They did no. The oh. Brenda got a big old butt. Oh yeah. I know they said a lot of names, but I was just sitting there one day like, we said Brenda had a baby. And we wondering why what we see what we see. I remember growing up. I'm gonna go over some things that when I was growing up wasn't glorified. I'm gonna name time and hopefully times and places. And when I seen it going away, I was born in 1982. I will be 36 according to the clock, but I have 8 days until I will be 36. I'm 35 now. And growing up, let's go. The music I heard, I wasn't allowed to listen to the heavy hard rap. I heard the Run DMCs, I heard the Rakims, the KRS One. But when it came to the guys that was talking about the rap in the streets, I wasn't allowed to listen to. People would say that's sheltered. You're not showing your child this. You're not doing that. But I learned this as I got older. Now, since if we can go from the time I wasn't allowed to listen to rap till I got older, I learned why I wasn't allowed to. Because now when I listen to it, I'm like, this is nothing. And even back then, rap was over sexualized. I remember it's a song with Q-Tip when he was in the group. Tribe Called Quest. Doom, 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 doom. And I was listening to the words. Even in that, I thought that was that beat has a good time feeling. So I'm you thinking it would go like this. I was cruising. It really does though. I was cruising down the street, and then my new Bentley or whatever type of car he had. I was enjoying my life. I was letting the sun rays. I was feeling on the heat because I feeling so good. Had my irons lotioned up and my cool hat on. Then I seen this chick like. Then when he went to the chick part, it just became super sexual. And I was like, I never noticed that. And I listened to music, but I didn't really listen to a lot of music because I didn't really like. I was never a type of person like I noticed the young men and young women only listen to like popular music. Everybody got everybody gotta like that song. I don't like a lot of the music because everybody listening to it. But that's cool if you was in a social circle, which you did. It's cool because I mean y'all got it's like hey gotta like the same music. I gotta listen to the same music. But that's when a lot of kids separate because like I don't like that type of music. I don't like country and there's other music out there either. I love jazz, and it's rare to find a woman that love jazz or even enjoy it to the point where you can just put it on and just chill to it. And I'm a type of person I can put your music on because it's your music. I'll listen to it. I might, and I did not. I'll listen to it because I'm actually listening to it. And then I was like, "You hear that part?" Person like, "Oh, I was just enjoying." And then I listen, and I look at the person. The person don't even know the words to the song they listen to. For whatever reason, they're enjoying that song, and they enjoyed it for a different reason. But I don't listen to that music, so I'm going to hear it a different way. So that's what I'm learning. We're learning how to hear different things a different way. We're going to enjoy things a different way. So in the music, so now going on from the music is the movies we watch. I don't enjoy a lot of movies because a lot of people make movies, and just like me, they're putting in what they want to put into the movie. Like so, if a person has been raised to not like or to have hatred in them, you're gonna believe me, and I see it a lot in movies. You're gonna see it in that movie. You're gonna see that in the plight of the movie. You're gonna see the workings of whatever the person was, because eventually you will see it. Keep watching. Go watch your favorite movie over and over and over again. You will see it. And the one thing I hate the most that's now that we are giving so much power to is social media. The media outlets that's influencing the generations now so heavily. Now they get to see everything. But even if in that, there is no excuse for one person, for a person to feel a certain way without enough information. There is no excuse for you not to have enough information. So if you telling me I hate this, I hate that, and you're only living in a segregated type of world, that means you have not went out, so your mother and father are not letting you. That shouldn't even matter to you because I wasn't upset when I got older that I didn't listen to rap. I wasn't allowed to watch certain movies. Then as I got older, our mother knew who we were in a sense, so we would start allowed to do a little bit more things because we wasn't bad children. We listened, so it was no use to keep us like I guess on like a lock and key anymore. See, and that's what happens as when you're a child, when you get older, which you don't understand yet. A young man and woman you are, you're going to get older. Your parents are going to start doing things and start allowing you to do things. It's not that they're sheltering you, because believe me, trust me, don't even believe me, trust me. There's a lot of things in this world that you had not, I haven't even seen yet. If I went into the military, if I never went to, I wouldn't have seen a lot of different. I seen murders before and killers and death, but I also seen other things. Until I lived on my own, I wouldn't have learned a lot of things. So trust in me. Take your time. This is for my young men, and this is right here. So my this is now. I'm gonna say I will teach this. I don't say teach a lot. If you notice, teaching and training and instructing, I will instruct this to any child, young man and young woman. Trust me. You do not want to experience everything so quick. There's children out there that have no choice to experience everything so quick. So trust me on this. You do not want to experience everything, excuse me, so quick. Let the time come when you experience. As me, one of my example was being a single man living on my own and dealing with school, work, relationships, and my family and people around me, friends or associates. I had to learn a lot of things on my own. You might be around a parent that do show you about credit. You might be around a parent that do have a lot of friends and that's showing you how to be around people, how to treat people, how to really be a people's person, or show you like, okay, certain people you don't say or certain do things around because that's not the type of person you're supposed to do that around. You have yet to, some people it take longer to get to know. But then you're gonna meet people that's not like that. You might meet people that think they, but you gotta show them and you are example to them. You might need to be example. So you gotta understand who you are too first. So your parents might be showing you it's okay. Be who you are. I don't mean to the extremes because I don't agree with a lot of things that this generation of parents is doing. It was sad hurting me that I seen a little girl on TV and I thought it was just the Caucasus. No, it's the African descent, native and African descent, native and descendant young men and women. She's her daughter said she a boy. I was like, she's or what do you call a boy, a male. And the other little boy in her class liked her. Before that though, her mother was allowing her to be a male. I was like, that's very sad. And it was clear that she's a girl, a woman. She's a female. And she was allowing her to take hormones now, start giving her hormones, which like testosterone. She's not even developed. She's gonna have some weird traumatic life when she get older. And I met people and I seen stories which is few and wide because they try to hide it. Just like there's a lot of information we'll get into that was hidden. Just like how we think and we look at history and talk about this is how we always treated our women. I know that's a bald faced lie. I know that's a lie. You can't tell me that we walked up in the way I am towards women. You can't tell me in the way the society is and what we see in our stories that we treated women bad. There is no way. There is no enough history to say that we treated each other the way we're treating each other now. You cannot tell me we were foster breeding and nurturing hate within our communities. Because that would have never we'd have never been around each other. We'd have never had a civilization. We'd have never had a nation. The reason we lost the nation, and I'm not going to say it because it's a lot of truth in it. I say it like this: you destroy the womb, you destroy the community. Let me say that again. That's why I don't say women, I say womb. You destroy the community, you got to destroy the womb. So if you destroy the womb, you destroy the community. That's how I'm going to live it there. You can take that as much as you want. And it's a lot of things that go on that. I'm going to do a live or a video on that, but I'm continue on. We are the problems for our generations we see. And I'm giving lots of examples. I'm giving a lot of true lives and stories. And so she's destroying this young girl life. Yes, as a parent, this parent is destroying. She's not a parent, and she's not a guardian. She's not protecting her daughter, and she's not helping her daughter to have a great life. But I guarantee you, even with that, I guarantee you, if she's doing that, I guarantee you she's not teaching her daughter how to require be an entrepreneur or to go to educate herself. I guarantee you she's not guiding or teaching her, like even teaching her. You're gonna teach her how to say she's okay with what she's doing. You helping her destroy her life and be traumatic. But she's gonna create her daughter a harder life than she had to be. And that's what I notice as well. Things we do in life, we make it so harder for ourselves. Imagine if I didn't listen to my mother when she said, "Now you free. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you like. But you still have to make the right decision for your life." I can't say, "Well, I'm gonna go party, party, party," and not go to work and not pay my bills and expect everything to go correctly. I can't party, party, party and not educate myself, expect me to expect for me to learn or had to get any understanding or knowledge or information for what I need to do. So see how those two see it's so simple to understand that. But why is it not so simple as to understand we destroy our generations by the things we say and do? Another thing we do, how we interact with one each other. We don't interact with each other very well. We really show a lot of hatred towards each other to make everything we say true. Yes, it's true because you keep saying it. The one thing I learned is when I followed whatever I was following, I kept doing it. I kept reading it. I kept, okay, like, all right, if I read this and do this, I'm going to be okay. Now learn that's not how it works because all you're doing, I call it spells, gospels, spells, doctrination in its order, and it's a trance. It's going to keep you under submission, whatever you give in power to. And it's a curse. That's what you give in power to. A person like, oh, I'm scared. No, I'm not scared of that. I challenge anybody that believe because all you doing is believing because you know it to be true, but you believe in because it don't work all the time. Somebody make a voodoo doll with me. I dare you. I challenge you, and I guarantee you, I manifest this through my Creator that created us, the real life, my Almighty being, Almighty entity, the Almighty, the Father, the Almighty, and the Creator. I guarantee you that nothing will happen to me. Not one thing. You know what will happen to me? My life. My life. That's what happens to you. And you would say, oh, they hurting me. I know somebody put a spell. Well, you probably allowed it because you have no knowledge of who you are. Nobody can put you under a spell or a curse if you know who you are, especially if it's coming to harm you. If you coming to harm me, I'm not working under the power of negativity. Like if I unless I said my thank you haters keep hating me, that give me energy. Now unless I said that hating don't never. I learned when I finally that left my system, hate no longer gave me energy. I was never I got mad and I was like, whoa, snaps. I'm kind of upset and mad, but this is not giving me power because I took that away. And when I started being more positive and I got in a situation where a person made me mad, I didn't throw away my fighting skills. I didn't throw away the abilities that I gained from fighting or knowing I became better at fighting. And see, and then literally at the end, fighting didn't always lead to physical fighting. My verbal fighting got better because I was no longer black. Like, cause now people, you zone out, you zone in. Because when you about to fight, you want to zone, and I still get that. Now I can zone in and know my surroundings. It's no longer just a tunnel. What had happened, everything around me, just like in a video game, if you can see it, I get this vision. So like if you played a new Red Dead Redemption game, you get this like instinct vision. Like literally the room changes. Every person get like marked. And everything that's highlighted, like if it's a gun, a knife, I see the knife and gun. If somebody's sneaking behind me, I can see like their frequency of their body energies like wrapping around me. Like, okay, somebody behind me. I seen them go there before that. But I learned what I got was I started receiving energies based on my vibration, my vibes. So I started noticing very negative energy before it came to me. And if you're being positive, you would notice a lot of negative energy. And so that's what we're doing. We charging ourselves up to be negative. Another thing I notice is look at how you talk. Look at how you think. Look at how you write. Look at how you look. Look in the mirror. And I notice a lot of people that's distorting and disassociating and coursing for they're toxic and they corrupt. Look at their lives. Look at their actions. Look how they speak. Look how they act. Look how they act when they're done wrong. Now, we don't think about psychological disorders. We don't think about dysfunctions. If a person you around always acts, they feel they got a low vibration, so a low esteem, they always need to know where you at. Now, I'm going to call it out, and this is going to be, and you got to understand this. This is not good. See, we never was taught this is not good. How we use the stupid, because I think it's stupid, and I know it's stupid. What you won't do, somebody else will. What other sayings like to do? Oh, I'm doing this because I love you. Wrong and wrong. And it's other things that we do. Those two examples is somebody that's another one. Oh, arguing. That is really a disorder. You need negative to be in your relationship. Think about this. I want you to really start thinking about what you're saying and doing. Ask yourself, is this really healthy for your health? You got high blood pressure and you always arguing. You might have to find a new person, or if you don't want to find a new, think about what you're saying and doing that's building you up for you to argue with this person. See, I'm a type of person that does this. I was just even talking to my mother last night. She keep mentioning these two ladies that I was with. She's like, those ladies was great for you. She said this, like, and it's funny, my mother said this. You know how like mothers, she's like, of course, I'm not going to think no woman is good for you. But then she was like, and my mother, she ain't say this in so many words. And this was the first time that my mother opened up to me very weirdly. And I respect it. I'm learning, okay, it's going to take a time. And I got a lot of time. Let me start calling her more. She was like, I like those women, but I'm going to never think a woman is good enough. And she said, she didn't say it like this. She ain't literally want to say, son, you're too good for those women. What she said, because she raised me, my mother know me. And for women and men that's out there in the dating scene, and you have children or don't let them meet certain people yet. Let them meet the people that you hear counsel. That my mother counseled me on that. And then one time she's like, you'll never let me meet the young women. Then one time she was like, stop bringing these women around. It's too many. And I was like, oh, I brought her out. Like, it's like, how long you know her? Oh, you only know her for a week. Why are you bringing her around me? But then she thought about it. She was like, when I said that, I should, mother really never say I shouldn't have said that. But she's like, that's an honor that you would bring these women around me. Because she said at first you wouldn't do it. But I was like, Mom, I didn't want to be with them. She's like, yeah, I understand. I learned the difference between, and she only met 7 women. I'm 35, and I didn't have sex with three of them. So she met seven women that I wanted to be with. She said, "It's a, you know that's an honor when you bring it around." She started understanding why I didn't have to say it because in all my words, the way I talk to my mother, I like she know my mother. Of course, my mother not push my button. My mother never pushed my buttons, but she'll say things that'll make me mad. Then she won't say. Only time she'll say things that make me mad if she doing it to relay messages to me. And this is what I love about my mother. She said, "You brought those women around me because you felt that's an honor to bring those women around." And I would describe my mother, and I don't know why, because my mother get this. I don't know why. She's mean, this and that. But once people come around her, they are very shocked. They can get information on her from other people. But once they get around her, my mother don't have no problem telling you her story. Now, she'll tell you exactly what somebody else told you when she get there. If she done something wrong, and now I love this about my mother. She tell you she do it wrong. She won't apologize, but she said I did wrong. If and you have to accept that because she's a person that's omitting her wrong, and a lot of people can't understand the fact that that's part of being honest. If you know what honesty is, you need to go look up the definition and go get some wise counsel and some wise advice. Or I got the power of oneness called it's called honesty. Listen to that. Maybe something might jot in your brain. Like, man, am I being honest? Is this I'm telling a person what I truly want? If I'm really telling a person how I am, that's honesty. Leaving any information out, you're no longer honest. I don't trust you. And forget, I'm 35. There's no way at 35, oh, I'm not telling you because you might use that against me. What you use against me can't hurt me because I don't work in the spirit and the energies and the vibrations and the frequencies. And under the power of negativity, I work in the positive light because my spirit man, I know who I am and I'm stronger than I used to be. And my most high, he guides me. So why I'm worrying about what you gonna say about me? What you gonna say? And if I got married, just say if I became a politician, you can't smear a campaign. They're like, yeah, OJ was doing this. What? My wife know about this. My kids know about this. People around me know. You can't say nothing to nobody around me that's gonna go. And if I didn't tell them, I didn't get to that part yet. And believe me, I told them, and trust me, I don't like the word believe. Believe is like it's like a fake word. It's like saying like believe to me, not belief. Believe to me, like, oh, I believe in that. It feel like it's not enough information you took the time out to know. That's what it felt like to me. When you just like, I believe it, I was like, I know. It's like, you know everything? No, I know what I'm talking about. I know, say what I mean and mean what I say. I know that. I know the basis of it. I know the beginning. At least I know the lower part of it. I may not know everything in it. So when you say it, I'm like, oh, why you lying to me? So I learned that my mother, she holds an account for me that's different. And if when I hear women say, I want to go around your mother, but that's the person that I get, I won't tell them I get counsel. And I'm saying it now, but a lot of women won't listen to that because I have women I've dated, knowing I was in the military, didn't ask me one thing about the military. So I'm not worried about that. And we got to start. And this is another thing. Now I'm gonna go off another thing. We don't ask questions towards one another. We assume. And I hate when you I hate this. And this is called comprehension, learning, reading, writing. It's just part of the learning, reading, and writing, the literature in school. When did we stop comprehending what people spoke, what they said? I can ask a question, the question never get answered. Like you ask somebody in a text or an email, you ask them a question, and you clearly put comma, like we put comma or question mark. I put four question marks sometimes, and I try not to write a long part. Or each part, I have a question. Then I talk to the person, they respond. I was like, "Thank you for responding, but can you answer the question, please?" Because in my questions, I'm getting an answer. I'm learning about you. I'm not looking for what I want you to say. I'm looking for what you really want to think about in this situation. So if I ask you, what if I got hurt and I was defending you? What would you do? That's a question. How would you look at me then? That's a question. If you can't answer those questions, I'm not going to be so quick to defend you. Because we got this notion we supposed to defend people just regularly for no apparent reason without just no cause. And then if you're not, you're called less than. That's wrong. Because there's on the other side, do you, and then I ask the question, do you reciprocate? Now, when that person needs defending, do you defend at all costs? And then if you make any type of excuses, I won't be with you. Like if people are vengeful, you are vengeful. Somebody do something to you, you do it back. Well, I learned, and then even in the spirit, if I made a commitment to a woman goes out and break that commitment. I am no longer under that commitment. You broke. Listen to what I'm saying, because we don't teach this. This is not even an instruct. We don't even guide this anymore. If you are committed to a person, you're not married. Even if you married, that's a little even like, man, you married now. You putting that energy over here, man. I'd have put all my energy into her. We'd have talked about what I wanted to do. She don't do certain things. Okay, you got to work with that. It's things you can do. It's never a option, and that's how I know our generations are lacking because our generations give up too quick. So we give up too quick on one another. So I like when I hear native descent, African native descent women, I'm like, you gave up on African native men. That don't make sense. That means you just gave up on yourself because you're going to create a child. You might have a son or a daughter, and if she have a son, I was like, you have a lot of pollution in your son. Your son now is going to grow up a certain way, and your daughter. We are our own faults for the next generations. Each generation is going to be the fault of the next one. The way the young men are, it was my father generation is the fault. It's a whole generation. I'm not pointing out one man or one woman. When that father is not in the home, that's his fault. That his daughter became a little hoe bag. That his son became a whoremonger or a drug dealer. We call it gang banging. He became part of the streets. And I would hear, this is how you know when you, now I have to say it like this. I'm going to say it with all honesty and truth. A mindless mother or father be like, I'm going to teach my daughter the streets. I learned what's easier for a person is always they're going to revert back to. It don't take a lot to go sell drugs, to sell your ass, to sell your pussy. It don't take a lot. It requires no effort and energy. But it requires effort and energy to go educate yourself because you're going to seek out information that you have no knowledge of. You have the inability to seek out this information because you don't know how to find it. All you want to do, just like how I want to seek out, I had to learn for myself. The only way that I was going to get jotted, that like I say jot means to break apart, reveal, loosen the information for me. I had to look at the definition and then like the key word and definition. Like it say, if I ask what is this, and I seen another word, I had to go look at that word, and that word I had to go find the etymology of that word. So I had to go study the word. I had to go look at the other word and study that word. I was like, okay, now I know why these words needed to be together. I know why in the translation of language they did it like this, but I also know why they did it the other way. If it's not so great of information, it's a trickery and it's a con. So I know why they did. It gave me it revealed. That's revelations. It revealed to me why. I don't look at books and words and scriptures and passages and literature as a literal life. I look at it as a understanding of life. Because in modern times, those literatures will not be valid enough to fully understand what's going on. So I had to learn that. And the spirit has showed me that. So as we doing this to our children, we are literally on I don't use this word a lot, failing them. There is no success. There is no build up. We're breaking down. There is no mark for our children. There is no high point. There is no esteem to be high. It's only esteem to be low because we say a lot of lowly things. We live in a lowly lifestyle. When you get comfortable, you get lower. You have no reason to persevere or be resilient because you gave up already. We're giving our children a give up attitude. Oh, I give up on, and I hear this a lot from, and I tell African native descent women that's in America. You talk about you gave up on the men. How you give up on the men? You never even, if you gave up, that means you never put no effort in. Because how you give up on men when you can clearly see that you can't see? And I say it like this: you looking at me, and I know when a woman has no knowledge or no basis, no ground to stand on, it's when she don't answer my questions. When she said, "You sound just like every other man," and I was like, "Ma'am, stop. Listen what you just said. I sound like every other man." And who is these men? These are the men that you're giving up on. Think about this, women and men. When you say I gave up on my African descent, native descent, African native descent women, indigo women, you say you gave up. You said we sound just like the other side. Hold on, pause. Let your brain seek this in. So we wanna help the next generation. Did you just comprehend what they just said? You sound like every man I speak to. You sound like every woman I speak to. And so as a man, I'm gonna go to the women. Women, how that you're meeting all these men and the men that I sound just like because you're starting to understand what you're saying. You got to come to a conclusion. What you're spewing has to have lies in what you was being shown and taught and told. That hatred that your mother or some man showed you, or the hatred you had through what you've been through. I'm sorry you've been raped. I'm sorry you've been molested. I'm sorry that man left you with a child. I'm sorry that man didn't keep his promises. But guess what? As a man that never met you, I can't do nothing about what he did. All I can do is about what we say and do and go forward. I don't know how to get you over this. Only you. Because I can encourage you and you can take that as a diss. I was encouraging a woman. I said, yes, you can. She got offended for saying, yes, she can do better. But since it didn't sound right to her, she got offended. Mind you, I don't defend women. So if I say I defend women and I have proof, if you need me to show you, I can talk to you one on one or ask me questions about how I defend them. Don't just say, well, you don't do this. Like, so you don't give me a random question. Well, I defend a random woman. No, but I have. So it's like, and it sounds funny. It's like, well, you do or you don't. That's not true. There's a difference between who you offend and how you defend. This woman could have been destroying planets, destroying civilizations. And I met her and the way she presented herself to me, and she dropped her information on the ground or is wet. And I find a way to not get her stuff wet because she's about to drop it or I watch out for her. I look out for her. I don't know what she did in her past, but that was by the way she presented herself to me. People would talk to me like, man, it seemed like you got hate in you, but then at the same time, they can't fathom how I think. I think towards what we're talking about, and sometimes I need time because sometimes in me, the other part of me might come out and be like, if a woman, I seen a video of, it was true. I looked up the articles and found it. This was real video. This was not no fake video. They put a camera up just for she was beating on her babies in the nurseries. She was in charge of the nurseries at night. She was beating on them because they was wondering why these babies had bruises, why these babies was malnutrition. She was force feeding the babies. The babies was crying. She was getting mad. She was hitting the babies. And for me, the punishment she should receive, how she treated those babies, and we should scare her, but whoop her. I say, how many times, watch all those videos, how many times she hit a baby. That's how many times you should hit her. But I know as a person now, we like, oh, that's to me, that's not harsh. To other people, that's might be harsh. So I would get together in a group and say what's wrong. People that I know. So if you're meeting a whole bunch of men that's telling you the same thing, you mad at a celebrity man that make money to do movies and to be in the entertainment industry, to be in front of the cameras. But a guy you never, I was like, you never met me. I'm not in front of the cameras. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know why they are jumping out of their race. But then the logic too is this is not even a time for you to even be mad at this man. A man defending his wife. Hold on, stop, pause. That right there. And I was like, you know what that's showing me? I said the type of woman you are. Cause now I'm about to do now I was coming in 1D. She was one dimensional with her response. I said, are you married? And if a woman you would ask her no, I was like, all right, you're not married, right? But it wouldn't even matter. You in a relationship. I don't care what color the person that spoke out or coming against you, that in your husband, do not say nothing. You don't want him to defend you based on his color of the what. So this is another African native indigo descent woman. And she speak on you and your husband don't defend you. Now she have to be another race ethnicity and your husband defends you then. That's good. So he don't defend you on your own because a woman speaking out against you for no reason at that. Never thought about that. See, in this case, she spoke out because he was intermingling interracialized marriage. And she thought she was going to say what she's saying. She thought, that's hold on though. Hold on. I want to get this logic together, women. Let's get this together. He's married to this other woman that she's coming against. So just work on this. If we held each other in high regards, I respect that. I don't gotta call him a name. First, I'm gonna go to what's first things first you're getting mad about, which don't make sense. Because that shows, and now see now, the men that's telling her, you gotta back off your comprehension. Your logic is not very, we don't comprehend your logic and it's not practical. Because what you're saying, you only basing your view on your hatred, your negativity. I'm not saying you can't have that view. You can hate all you want. But I know you working on the power of negativity, so I'm not going to entertain that. I'm going to question your negativity. So your husband, just throw that out the door to even the race. Now you were married to a man and he don't defend you. How would you feel? Do you not want your husband to defend you, or do you got circumstances? And see, and that's the problem. That right there, now to every woman that hears this, I don't want to deal with you. And see, you can call me whatever name, but you won't take account and responsibility to your own stupidity, because that's what it is to me. You can say whatever name you want to call me. You can call me whatever you want. That is stupidity at the highest level, and that's where I'm getting at. That is a disorder. That's a dysfunction that you need to go get that checked. You need to go talk to counsel and have good advice to show you like, wow, that don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to her. Why would her husband allow her to be attacked by anybody? Why would her husband allow her? That's what that goes to show me. You don't have a high regards for yourself, because you would choose a race over basically your race. You're married. You're a woman. If you really in a loving relationship, you'd have been so happy that your husband fended for you. I would be so happy that my wife actually was happy I defended her. She didn't base it off of color, because that shows me I'm gonna get in situations where I'm gonna be held accountable and not held accountable, and then I'm not gonna know how to defend you. I'm gonna be very lost, and then that's gonna show me all those things that they say. Maybe I am a punk or a chump, but I'm not going to allow someone to hurt my wife. And if you want to be hurt based on that by all means, go find a man. Maybe you need to go be with a man that don't care. Then he's going to have a lot of problems with you, and that's what we're going to happen. Our next generations. I'm going to leave it at that. I know I didn't go over every topic, but I'm getting the gist. I want you to understand the next generation is going to have the same disorders. They're going to be is going to be toxic and corrupted. They're going to be very confused because we got these sayings. We got to have argument in a relationship. That means it's not healthy. I don't healthy relationships don't require. See, if I'm an adult, I worked my life, I did my life, and I'm able to I comprehend words. I'm able to understand the person. Why do I need to argue or debate you if I don't know your view? Don't you? I'm going to give you the floor and allow you to speak so I can understand. I don't have to argue with you, and that's the thing. I never been in a relationship. All seven, well, it was even six. I ain't gonna call it seven one a relationship. The six relationships I've been in my life, I never argue with none of them women, and you can call all of them. If I had their numbers, I tell you, they can tell you a lot of things about me, but I never argue with them because I had no reason. And then it's even at a young age, from my first way, I didn't argue with her. I had no reason to argue with her because I know we from two different sides of a coin. She was raised over here. I was raised over here, like LL Cool J said. I was raised up in Cream. She was raised down in Brooklyn. That mean if she was in if he was in Queens and she was in Brooklyn, their life experience is different. The people they're around is different. So how in the world is that we're gonna agree on everything? We're gonna cling. Sometimes to cling, we gotta come understand. We gotta gain full knowledge. And we haven't yet take the time out to understand. It's like you need to pick me, you need to do this, you need to say that. And like if it's not right by you and you got a disorder, you got a psychological disorder called I want to say the word. I don't like the word because those are curse and spell words. Those curses and spells. You have a disorder of like I'm gonna say not even I'm gonna say arguing. That's a disorder that you want to argue and you think that's healthy. You think that's going to help the relationship. When I can easily just say I don't understand what you're saying. Can you try to word that a different way? That sound like a punk. That sound like a man you don't want to be with. That sound like a man like or a man being too. I don't get disorders. I really don't. And by my mother, she showing me, and I heard it. Two women I never met. First women that told me I was a man, and my mother last night, which was very powerful. That she respects me. So why would I get with a woman that won't think I'm a man and that don't respect me? And women, you gotta look at that the same way in your life. If a man said I'm about my money, money over bitches, and he calling you a bitch, hey, what's up, bitch? Come here, bitch. What you think you are? His money is over you. So when it's time for him to do certain things, he's not going to do it. You got with the men that didn't want you. You got with men that wasn't checking for you. After a while, after you had to do some crazy things to check. I learned if a woman not checking for me, I ain't checking for her. If a woman not defending, it's like it's got to be. And this is how it always worked. Is no reciprocation from the women and my generation. So the young women and men, the young women from the generation I'm in to the next generation, they're not going to learn how to reciprocate. So all the women that have children in my generation, their daughters is going to be like that. And see, nobody's taking the time out to take a knowledge to like, we want to learn knowledge, but we don't want to acknowledge the truth, the all truth. What you think your daughter, how you think your son going to be towards women? Just say you have all sons. How you think he's going to be towards women? You're giving off that energy. You showing them vibrations. You give them you give them that power to say, this is how you're going to be towards women. Then we wonder why that a lot of men that do go out of their inner race, like even the women, why they're doing it. I surveyed a lot of women that interracialize, intermingle, and I surveyed the men, and I tell women, men that go out of their race, they go out of their race for, and it sounds funny. I'm not defending them. These men, they go out their race for whole different reasons. They don't go out their race for the same reason at all. And if you take the time to listen to them, it's like, wow, why do we go out it don't matter to me because I know who I am. I know who I love. I love my mother. I want my daughter to look like me, all look like me, or even more chalkier than me. Chocolate is beautiful. I'm gonna love my daughter and my son. My son and daughter gonna be so loved. They gonna like the generation they're gonna be born in. Cause everybody I know have they children gonna be teenagers by the time I have a child. And if I do have a child, my children gonna be like the anomalies. They're gonna be like the Mohicans. They're gonna be like, who are you children? Where y'all was raised at? People that can understand, like, wow, you still have a father that respects African, Native, Indigo descent women. And they're gonna like, yes, don't your father? And they kids, the other kids, probably gonna be biracial or mixed with all these different races, and they're not gonna be able to understand, like, oh wow, they're not gonna understand that because what their mother and father are showing them in the household. Her daughter ain't gonna know the mixed biracial girl gonna see her idolize her other race father and see me and be like, oh, what my mother talking about? They're gonna see that it's not so bad. But then people in your disorder, if you've been hurt, and I'm gonna leave it at this. If you've been hurt, what you're showing into the next generation is disorder because you allowing one person or a few people to hurt you. I haven't touched it's 4 billion women on this earth. I barely met 300, 200 women in my life. And it's let's say it's a million African, Native, Indigo descent women of my race. I'm only at 200 and it's a million. I have yet to scratch the surface of how many the women of my own race there is. When I say onto one, I say onto all. It's your choice, it's your path, it's your journey. Choose wisely. We are the destruction and we are the demise of the next generation. If you don't see it, start asking yourself questions. What do I love about me? What do I hate about me? And I challenge you. Take a pen and paper and write that down. If you don't love yourself, and I don't mean like the reason you do what you do have nothing to do with that man. You do it because you want to do it. That's the first thing I tell myself. Anything I do have nothing to do with another human being on this earth. That man or woman cannot control who I am. They cannot make me to be who I don't want to be. I am who I am. That's because I say I am. If I wasn't, why would I say I am? I am success. I am resolve, resolution. I am truth. I was created. I was made perfect, established, and whole. There's nothing about me whole, holy, all well being, spirit, all law. Follow what the spirit gave to me for my well being so I can make perfect, established, and whole, so I can be the best man I can be on this earth in my life, naturally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. If you don't garnish all those things, and if you don't have good and positive values, morals, and ethics, you don't reaffirm, reinforce empowerment, good and positive. I love me. I am great. I'm going to do the best I can do. If you don't work on those and you don't know who you are, I am. I have a focus, I have a purpose, mission, and a position. If you don't know how to do none of those things, you're doomed. Like you doom mean explosion, blow up, lose control. We no more longer will exist. You can help be the person that helped mend it, or you can help be the person, the device. You're the instrument and the tool of destruction. If you not better yourself, and everything will fall in line. I don't have to worry about another man or another woman actions. But I hate to see when people do. And I'm a people person. I love people. And I just don't understand how can you sit there and say the profound things you say in your stupidity. You are a fool's fool. The fool is in the social media and the things that's around you and the people. They are fools that garnish all of what they fashion and what they want to see. And it's a trend now to hate and to bash people in your own race. That's sickening to me. It's no more sad. At first it was sad. That's like when I was first called a nigger by the other race, and then heard in my race using that word like it was supposed to mean brotherly love, but it just mean the same things, just with a different letter. That's how language and translation work. And I was sad, and eventually I got over it, and it became sickening. Now I get sick. I get so sick. I don't want to be around you. and you would use every scapegoat, you would use every deflection, every narrative that's a lie, that's deceitful, to not go into the all truth and know exactly why you are the way you are, because that's who you want to be. Shalom.